He handed his torch to Darlene. Then he began picking at the aging mortar around a brick. "What are you doing?" Jerry asked. "Just checking it out," Bo replied. He scraped away several chunks of mortar and slipped his fingers into the cracks around the brick, trying to pry it loose. The brick popped in an inch, as if pulled from the other side. Bo yanked his hands away. "Did you do that, Bo?" Max asked. "No," Bo said. He cleared his throat. "Whoa," Elaine thought. She felt a ball of fear form in her throat. Was she seeing things? Someone, or something, must have moved that brick. "That's weird," Darlene whispered. Elaine wrapped her fingers around the cuffs of Bo's jacket. She wanted to say something. Like maybe they should forget about the stupid brick and keep moving. They didn't have to explore everything, did they? "Bo," she began, but Bo's hands were already moving to touch the brick again. Before he could, it popped out several inches. "Uh-oh," Bo murmured. "This is weird," Elaine thought. "This is really, really weird." Bo placed his fingers on the brick and pushed. It moved in several inches, then stopped dead. "There," Bo said, satisfied. "How about that?" As if in reply, a low rumble came from the wall. It grew louder, and Elaine's fear grew with it. "Run," she told herself. Too late. The rumble became a roar, then the entire wall exploded. Chapter 12. The force of the blast slammed Elaine into the cinder block wall. She landed hard on her left shoulder. Bits of brick stung her face. Screams echoed in her ears. When she opened her eyes, she could hardly see. Everyone was down on the floor. Only one torch remained lit. A thick red dust hung over everything. Elaine coughed and wiped the matted wet hair from her face. She blinked through the red dust and saw a gaping hole in the brick wall, large enough for a person to climb through. "Is everyone okay?" Bo asked. He sat up, brushing himself off. Elaine squinted hard at him. A trail of blood trickled down his forehead. "You okay?" he asked her. "I think so," she replied. "What was that, Bo?" "I don't know," he mumbled. He wiped the blood from his face, wincing as he touched the cut on his head. Elaine watched him. A sick feeling grew in her stomach. Bo was afraid. She could see it in his eyes. Max rolled over and pushed chunks of brick off him. He opened his mouth, then shut it again. He shook his head. "Whoa," he muttered. "What was that?" Jerry demanded. He retrieved his glasses from the floor and tried to bend them back into shape. "Bo?" came Darlene's dazed voice. "I'm right here," he replied. She crawled through the rubble and hugged him. He wrapped his arms around her. Elaine turned away and picked up the lit torch. "I'm really freaked," Darlene moaned. "What's happening?" "I don't know," Bo replied. He unwrapped himself from her and picked up his torch. Elaine handed over his lighter before he asked. It took him 3 tries, but the torch finally caught. "Everyone okay?" he asked again. Everyone muttered that they were okay. "Let's keep looking for a way out of here," Jerry urged. "That was too weird." "Something blew up that wall," Max agreed. Darlene coughed. "I can hardly breathe with this dust." She squinted through the red cloud, and Elaine noticed her eyes watering. "It won't settle." "I know," Jerry agreed. "I can't breathe either. What's with this stuff?" Elaine covered her mouth and held her torch up into the red cloud. Particles swirled around the flame like microscopic moths. They formed tiny clouds that churned and broke up, but never dissolved. It didn't seem like dust at all. It felt heavier than normal air, more humid and warmer. Elaine wrinkled her nose. This dust almost seemed alive. Ugh, Darlene grunted. What's that smell? Elaine smelled it too. It was the sour odor of decaying flesh. She covered her nose and held the torch up higher. The clouds were all red, a deeper red than brick. They began to gather into one dense cloud. It churned all around Elaine and the others. "What is this?" Max whispered. He climbed to his feet and began waving his hand in front of his face. The mist didn't clear. In fact, it seemed to intensify around Max, thickening, growing. Max's mouth dropped open in fear. "Something's wrong," he murmured. "Something is very wrong here." "Max?" Bo asked. "What is it?" Max's body stiffened. His fingers curled up like claws. His eyes bulged. Elaine gasped. What was happening to him? "Max?" Bo started, but his words were cut off by Max's scream. Max howled again as the red mist lifted his body off the ground. Chapter 13. Elaine stared in horror at Max. He floated 3 feet off the ground. The red cloud swirled around him like a tornado. His body twisted and turned inside it. Max's left arm snapped up so hard that his shoulder socket popped. Elaine stifled a scream as his right arm was yanked behind his back. The red mist moved with Max as he squirmed. "Max!" Bo shrieked. He leapt into the cloud and grabbed for Max's legs. Something blew Bo back against the far wall with incredible force. Elaine and Darlene cried out as Bo landed in a crumpled heap. "Please stop," Elaine prayed. "This can't be happening." She heard bones cracking. She covered her ears and screamed at the sight of Max. The red mist whirled around Max as if tightening its grip. "It can't do that," Elaine told herself. "It can't do that because it's not alive. It's just dust. It's only dust. This isn't happening." The red mist whirled faster. Max's ribs rippled under his shirt, snapping loudly, cracking and snapping. Elaine's stomach churned. She could only stare in horrified silence at what was happening next. His left arm pinwheeled and broke at the elbow. It flopped wildly in the red cloud, loose inside the skin. His eyes rolled down in their sockets, turning a sick grayish white. Elaine clutched her stomach and rocked back and forth. She felt her body quaking, but she couldn't get up, couldn't run, couldn't scream. She could barely think. All she knew was that she had just watched another human being die. Then the red cloud spun away down the tunnel. It flew unnaturally fast, propelled by no wind whatsoever. Max's body hung inside it, limp and twitching. The darkness swallowed him up. He was gone. Elaine stared after them in shock. "I'm not dreaming. I'm awake, and I'm going crazy. This can't be," she whispered. "This is impossible." Darlene and Jerry sat next to her among the bricks, frozen. But Bo stumbled to his feet. With an angry roar, he ran after the red cloud. "Bo, no!" Elaine cried. She forced herself to stand on her good foot, but it was too late to stop him. Bo plunged deeper into the labyrinth to save his friend. The light of his torch disappeared into the dark tunnel. A lump formed in Elaine's throat. Would she ever see Bo again? Would the strange mist do the same thing to him that it did to Max? "We have to get out of here," came Jerry's quivering voice from behind her. "We've just got to try and get past the water again. At least we know how to get back there, and we'll be going in the opposite direction of that thing." His words snapped Elaine's attention back to their situation. We can't leave without Beau, she declared. We have to go after him. No, we have to leave. Jerry fumbled on the ground for a torch, but couldn't find one. He tried to snatch Elaine's, but she pulled it away. Give it to me, he ordered. Now. No way, Jerry, she replied, backing away. We can't leave Beau. We need to get out of here, he screamed. Right now, we can't go back into who knows what. Do you understand that, Elaine? Come on, Jerry, let's go. She can stay here. We gotta go, Darlene cried. We need the torch, Jerry pointed out. Darlene's eyes narrowed on Elaine. The torch is coming with us, whether you are or not. Elaine stared at her in surprise. Was Darlene really that scared? Scared enough to run away and leave Beau behind? I guess she's not so tough after all, Elaine thought. No way, Elaine told her.